What to do, YouTube? This is Acid Root. So I'm going to review the second album by Dem Franchize Boyz, On Top of Our Game. Now this is rooted in snap rap and kind of snap trap crunk type music. There's definitely a lot of good gems like that on here, and they're pretty similar to DJ Unk, Lil Jon, and their rival rap group that was kind of around the same time as them, D4L. Now Jermaine Dupri kind of helps produce this project, and he was kind of fly at that time. He was doing some stuff, but really snap rap is kind of a genre that was kind of dominant in rap between like mid 2005 and like maybe the second half of 2007. I think it culminated with like Soulja Boy once he kind of burnt out in early 2008 and stuff. But the thing about it is snap rap is I mean, it was definitely for a time it was heralded as like one of the worst things in rap music, but there are some pretty catchy joints on here that I definitely feel like are worth the cause. Like it in hindsight, looking back on Dem Franchize Boyz, they had some real riveting party starters. Dem Franchize Boyz has some riveting party starters, and they had pretty much mastered the concept of having public relations and good songwriting. I think maybe they weren't as great in the lyrics department, but they knew how to make songs with good beats that when you're not trying to listen dubiously to lyrics and that type of stuff, it just gives you something to really jam out to and bop to and dance to, which is what this album was meant to be popular. That's kind of why Nas wound up saying later that year in 2006 that hip hop is dead, but no, it just got stupid and basic. I don't mean stupid like it's idiotic, but it just they dumbed down the lyrics and just made things more simplistic, kind of talked in layman's terms. And that's what this album basically is. It's like it's a trap music, snap rap music type party joint that keeps things in layman's terms, and it just has pretty much is intended for like a weekend or two album with just nothing more in mind than flossing, getting money, uh, having some women around and kind of just taking it easy. And that there's just a lot of joints for that sort of stuff. So it's just an overall fun project, more fun than possibly some lyrical albums that I could review, but I would prefer to do this instead. I really didn't have a problem with snap rap. I mean, I remember back in the day listening to these songs as I ate as through adolescence. I kind of have to say that they aged pretty well. I mean, really, I would still today prefer to listen to this than some lyricist who doesn't have any party joints like Lean With It, Rock With It, Bricks for the High, or Riding Rims. To me, this just completely soars over a lot of stuff that's kind of going on, that was going on, and it probably outsold them too. I just would have to say there's the only thing you can really fault this record for is just the fact that it doesn't have like truly Olympian type lyrics. But apart from that, it's just an overall batch of fun. It's an overall batch of fun, and I'm going to get to talking about some of these singles. So the first single is I Think They Like Me, and the unfortunate thing about this song is if you try to buy the explicit version of this album, this song is still going to be the clean version, which is kind of disappointing because it's such a catchy song. Easily kind of like a crunk ready kind of club type joint. This one's just automatically stepping out, this them kind of flossing over some braggadocious stuff, and it's kind of a posse track, and it works pretty well. I think Jermaine Dupri did a great job of handling this type of record. I mean, one thing I'm definitely going to say that something that Dem Franchize Boyz has down pretty pat are good hooks. Like there's a number of them on here, like I Think They Like Me, Riding Rims, Lean With It, Rock With It, Freaky As She Wanna Be, Suckers Come and Try Me. A lot of these have some pretty outstanding hooks. That's another thing that they have to their service is besides like the beats and the simplistic, so it's catchy kind of material, they also have some pretty rock solid hits that you might find yourself chanting along to. They just nailed that for the most part. And that's kind of the thing. But I Think They Like Me is a pretty outstanding club cut. It's not the beat is not the best on here. The beat is not the best on this album, but it is pretty serviceable and definitely above average. I'd probably give the beat like a 7.5, 8 out of 10, something like that. But it's just an overall good, catchy, kind of quick paced club track that just kind of gets right down to business right away. The second single is probably the best song on this album. It's probably the most distinct song is Lean With It, Rock With It. And this is kind of rooted in like this song is rooted in snap rap. It just has that like they're even snapping in like the beat and that type of stuff. Just an oozing kind of snakishly good kind of club track that just really has like a posse type feel. This is one of those songs that when the boys are back in town, that type of stuff that you just give dap and get some clout and that type of stuff. It's just an easy kind of song for your dogs and that type of stuff. A flirty number, it just works extremely well. It's like a more, even though Laffy Taffy outcharted this song, I still feel like Lean With It, Rock With It is a pretty solid, just an overall stellar rap song for the 2000s. It's an overall stellar rap song for the 2000s. This works extremely well. It's probably one of the most distinct. Now, obviously, if you're not a fan of snap rap and ringtone rap and that type of stuff, the Mike Jones, the D4Ls, the Shoddy Lows, the Mims, those type people, Huey, and some of those type folks, it may not resonate as well. But I really feel like this is just the perfect balance. This is like how rap songs should be when it comes to club bops. It's something catchy, catchy in the hook, catchy beat, catchy lyrics, just overall good flavor of a song. Definitely enjoyed the oozing kind of beat on there quite a bit. The third single, this one didn't chart quite as well, and this is about where the promotion of the album wrapped up, but it's called Riding Rims. I really like the beat and like the chorus more than I like it in the verses, but it does work pretty well. It's just another, to me, this is kind of like a backyard party type number. Just really is another dap and clout kind of song for your homies and that type of stuff. It's interesting to kind of get that kind of vibe. It's just feel good, kind of night venue, nighttime bass vibes as far as that kind of, this real kind of nighttime type vibes that just goes along with like a real charming aspect towards it. And yeah, it's just it's amazing how well Dem Franchize Boyz concocted these singles, because at the time before they dropped this album, they only had one hit single, and that was just White Tea. But they really kind of crafted a good series of these. I almost think that they could have gotten to the fourth single if this song would have charted better. But it's a nice weekend number, another nice. It's a pretty serviceable follow-up to Lean With It, Rock With It. Not quite as good. It's clearly the underdog out of the three singles, but I still give it credit. It's more kind of quality than what you might think. This 3 weekend numbers, 3 great club moments just to kind of have, and it just kind of has like that kind of lightly backwash type feeling when it comes to just like stepping out and that type of stuff. It just really feels more of like a slinky kind of hole in the wall type place, more so than like the state of the art club that you might go to. But it just works. Yeah, to talk about the rest of this album, I'm going to go ahead and list the 8 songs out of 12 I recommend to you, so we'll get on with that. So the 8 songs are Lean With It, Rock With It, Suckers Come and Try Me, Freaky As She Wanna Be, Riding Rims, You Know What It Is, I Think They Like Me, Bricks for the High, and Stop Calling Me. So, like Bricks for the High has basically one of the best beats on here. Just is another one that just kind of has like an up tempo and kind of oozing beat towards it. Just has like a real menace type feel. It feels kind of ghoulish also. I like that. It really kind of just was kind of like a haunting song, up there with Lean With It, Rock With It, and Jim Jones is on there, and Jay-Z's buddy Dame Dash is on there. I thought that was DJ K-Slay, but I guess that's Dame Dash. I really haven't heard his voice that much now that I think about it. That's pretty good. Freaky As She Wanna Be has an excellent hook from Trey Songz. It's interesting to kind of get him doing that. I figured that they would have picked like T-Pain or Akon or something, but Trey Songz delivers a pretty rock solid hook. Really kind of sets this song in motion, and it's just kind of a summery or springish kind of sultry number for the ladies as far as that kind of goes. It works pretty damn well. I just am especially a fan of the Trey Songz hook. That kicks a lot of ass. Stop Calling Me is another song for the ladies, only this time it's more about distancing them. It's more about distancing themselves from like the clingy and kind of needy ones in a lot of ways. And I kind of think that I like the approach towards it, because it just shows that Dem Franchize Boyz can kind of get tired. They're not just slaves to women and that type of stuff. So it's just kind of like, yeah, I can see the clingy type women out there that would call for that sort of situation. The beat is okay on Stop Calling Me, but it's just kind of, I can see this song being played in the clubs too. There's enough kind of club joints on here to kind of say that as far as that kind of goes, but it's just kind of an interesting angle from that. They really were kind of saying like the stuff that just them talking about not wanting to answer their cell phone and that type of stuff. Suckers Come and Try Me has DJ Unk on here, and this really, to me, felt like it could have been the 4th single. I really felt like it was just pretty damn well put together. Suckers Come and Try Me really I really like the hook on here the best. It's just pretty catchy, instantly kind of just in your face, and kind of has that earworm type feel towards it. It's too bad that wasn't dropped as a 4th single, or at least tried to be like a music video towards it. I like the fact that they hooked up with DJ Unk. It's because he was pretty popular around that time also. I'm really surprised that they didn't try to market that one, but that one basically could have been a single if the beat had been just like a hair or two more catchy. It's pretty damn good. I like the emphasis of the song, and I'm trying to think of what other beats or songs on here that I recommended. Like I talked about, yeah, so I think that about does it. To talk about the 5 songs I didn't enjoy, like I really felt like the 3 6 Mafia song "Don't Play with Me" was kind of a disappointment. Really felt like the kind of beat on there. Yeah, I was surprised how well they picked production on here, like beats like "You Know What It Is," "Lean With It, Rock With It," and "Riding Rims" and some of those. But then "Don't Play With Me" kind of had this like a really kind of bad 3 6 Mafia beat. I just would have gotten a beat from like DJ Paul, Juicy J, and have done it that way. But that's just really probably one of the worst songs I've heard from 3 6 Mafia in a while. It's probably one of the worst beats by 3 6 Mafia I think I've heard them on. I mean, they've had some kind of blunders here and there, but for the most part, 3 6 Mafia is usually on some pretty scaping and haunting kind of beats. But this one didn't have that at all. It wasn't horrorcore 3 6 Mafia. Wasn't Stay Fly. Uh, Most known unknown club oriented 3 6 Mafia either. It just kind of felt like an awkward one from like their early 2000s days, like the Unbreakables or something, but it just was not that fun to listen to. I didn't like the kind of bubblegum popishness. This is probably the most poppy song on here, Give Props. I really kind of felt like that one was just a little bit too up tempo or a little bit too giddy with glee and that type stuff, considering most of their themes have been pretty slinking and haunting and that type stuff. But there is kind of a more upbeat one. I didn't like My Music with Bun B. I couldn't really get into the arrangement of that one. It was, yeah, that one just didn't work for me. They Don't Like That had a pretty bad beat also. So this is kind of the situation about it. There's really only 4 songs out of 12 that I didn't enjoy. It just really happens to kind of be a thing. But yeah, I didn't care for the beat arrangement of They Don't Like That. It kind of was like a bad piano beat on there. It just kind of had like this real kind of sluggish thumping type tune to it that wasn't that catchy. But so yeah, just to talk about just to talk just to talk about some of these ones that I would listen to on a weekend sense, I would definitely say Riding Rims. I Think They Like Me, Lean With It, Rock With It are 3 great outgoing songs. But then I would also throw You Know What It Is, Bricks for High, and Stop Calling Me in there because those are some extra ones that kind of have some additional kind of flair to them. And even Suckers Come and Try Me. Really, the only song out of the 8 I recommended to you that doesn't have like a club bounce and kind of a night venue, kind of energetic, pulsating night type feel would just be Freaky As You Want to Be, which is just another one intended for ladies. But that's kind of the concept. So, me liking 8 out of 12, I'm going to give this album basically an 8 out of 10. I feel like me liking 2/3 of the project is pretty damn solid considering that there were only 4 songs I didn't enjoy. So that's definitely, this is a pretty outstanding record. I mean, I definitely feel like it's kind of underappreciated just because Dem Franchize Boyz kind of fell into the loop of just because they were ringtone rap and everyone was just listening to their songs when you called them on the phone or something, and they were just kind of like tacky rap music. I kind of feel like they got a bad rep and just didn't get the props they deserved. And it's really too bad because they had some joints on here. They had money. They had the ability to get good beats and have good song topics and especially good hooks. So it's just, I feel like this album is very underappreciated. I think it definitely needs to be rediscovered if it hasn't already and kind of get some more props towards it because it just has, it's a pretty flashy album. Definitely set off 2006. It was one of the earlier albums that dropped in 2006. It's just too bad that they dried up so quickly and didn't have more expression to them because they really had some good moments. The fact that they had 3 hit singles plus an album full of kind of club and crunk junts and that type of stuff is just too bad that it didn't catch on more. They did manage to drop one other album after this 2006 one, but that one kind of plocked a little bit also. It just seems like they're forever going to be kind of stationed with like snap rap of like 2005 2006, and they were just kind of maybe not 1 hit wonders but 2 hit wonders, but they deserve way more credit. I mean, if you have had a previous opinion about Dem Franchize Boyz under the concept of saying that they were just bad rappers and they had like 1 or 2 hits, don't think that way. Kind of give them a shot and indulge in this album because they have an album full of extra kind of joints for going out and having a good time, and just with maybe not the sheer energy and chart appeal of lean with it, rock with it, but there's definitely some further enjoyment to be had, and it just works in like a perfect summer smoke session in the backyard, stepping out to the club, cruising around in the car, going on errands, just overall all sorts of stuff as far as trying to do that sort of stuff. There's plenty of moments I could see for it to just be played, and even like I said, like some hole in the wall clubs that you go to that may not be A list is probably this would work as like some good night setting type feels to kind of listen to after getting tired of all like the number ones that you hear, like like Beyonce's Crazy in Love, and like songs like that, this constant kind of the usual suspects for rap music when you hear it out and about. So I think that's kind of the thing. The social score I'm going to give like an 8 out of 10 also, just because it had an album chock full of hits. I think I would have given it like a 9 if Riding Rims would have charted higher, but that is a good song despite the fact that it kind of got the shaft compared to the other two singles. But yeah, it's just plain, for some reason, a lot of people hated Snap Rap just because they weren't lyrical, but just ignore that. You need to flush that down the drain and completely forget about the fact that Snap Rap kind of people thought that that was responsible for killing rap music, because it's a lot of fun, and on the surface and past the surface it has some true hits that are great for weekend appeals and stuff like that, just minus like the complete Shakespeare like lyricism, which not every album needs. That's this kind of thing. In terms of the future, like Dem Franchize Boyz dropped an album in 2008, which I'll eventually get to, and they've actually dropped 3 albums. There was one in 2004 also with White Tea on there. But I just would have to say, I think they did also drop a mixtape. I'll try to review that also, but we'll focus on that as time goes along. But yeah, definitely don't overlook this project.